I want you playing guitar today, but I don't want you to have to learn infinite numbers of licks. Instead, I just want to take some very simple licks, uh, just modify them a little bit, and I'm going to show you that you can use these very simple licks that anybody can play to play any kind of style of solo that you want. So let's dive in. Guys, if you get something out of my videos, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. I know that everybody tells you this, but it really does help us beat the algorithm and it helps the channel grow. And if you don't like the video, just hit the thumbs down button twice. So I'm going to be in the key of A, but you can do this in any key. I'm going to come up here to where I can play my bar chord, and we're going to be playing inside of this minor pentatonic scale for a minute. But remember, I don't want you running this scale, but we're going to look at some very simple licks inside of this scale. So the first lick I want to look at is really simple. All we're going to do is hit the 7th fret on the G, 5th fret on the G, and then the 7th fret on the A. That is a really super simple lick. And that's going to be our first lick, and we can find variations on this, like maybe we bend this 7th fret, maybe we bend this 5th fret, and then go to our A. So that's a neat little lick, very simple. Anybody can play this, and we're going to use this lick to kind of resolve out of some of these other licks, but this can be used as its own lick, and you can use, different pieces of it, to kind of loop around. And you don't have to run when you're playing solos, run up and down the scale and play all of these different licks. You can find some of these repetitive licks and just kind of use them over and over again and get some different sounds out of them and fill up some space in these solos, not by running a whole bunch of different notes, but taking these simple licks and just kind of looping them over. Now, the second lick I want to show you is one that every guitarist has in the bag. I mean, every great guitarist plays this lick or a variation of it, and it's that famous kind of Chuck Berry, Johnny B. Good lick. What we're going to do is bend the 7th fret of the G string, hit the 5th fret on the B, and the 5th fret on the E. So that's that really famous lick. And you don't have to hit them individually like this. You can hit the B and the E together. You don't even have to hit the E string. A variation on this might be just to hit the G and the B string. And again, we can get out of this loop by going back to that original lick. So that might sound something like this. So all of these licks connect together. And I don't want you going and learning licks if you can't learn how to connect them together. It's more important that you just learn a few licks and know how to string them together than it is for you to go learn a million different licks and think of them all as independent from each other. These licks all connect together and can be used in conjunction with one another. So another variation on this Johnny B. Good lick might be to not bend this G string up, not bend that 7th fret. Instead, maybe you just hit the B and the E string. That can be a lick in and of itself. Or maybe we can slide up from underneath that. So slide from the 4th fret to the 5th fret. Or maybe we slide up on the B string 4 to 5 and then hit the E string. So, which is kind of a neat sounding lick. And again, we can get out of this lick by going back to that first lick. So again, all of these connecting together. Now, one lick that, again, everybody knows, and it's in every style of music, is to slide up to the 9th fret on the G string and then hit the 8th fret on the B string. And again, you can either play them individually like that, or you can hit them together. And we can resolve out of that looped lick by going back to that first lick. So again, now we can start stringing these licks together. Now a variation on that first lick, especially if you're up here playing one of these other ones, might be to just lay your finger flat on the 7th fret, flat on the 5th fret, and then hit your A note, the 7th fret on the D string. So it's the same as that first lick, but now we're hitting both the G and the B string. So that might be another variation. Again, play around with these licks and see if you can find some different variations, some different combinations inside of them. Now, one lick that I absolutely love, I use it way too often, truth be told, is this 8th fret here on the E string and the 7th fret on the B string. That is the entire lick. Just playing both of those together. And the way I might resolve out of this lick is just to lay my finger flat on the 5th fret. So again, I'm using part of that Johnny B. Good lick, just that laying my finger flat, as a resolution, a way to get out of that kind of dissonant sounding lick. Now another lick I want to show you is up here around your BB King box. So we're going to come up here, we're playing around this pattern. So we've got our A note here, this 10th fret on the B string. And what we're going to do is with our ring finger, we're going to bend that B string up there on the 12th fret. And then with our pinky, we're going to hit this 12th fret on the E string. Now the reason I want you to do that bend with your ring finger is so that you can use all 3 of these fingers for strength while you're bending that up, so that you have the ability, if you want to hold that bend. And the way I might get out of this is just to go back to my A note, this 10th fret here on the B string. So again, a very useful lick. Now, I first heard this in country and southern rock, but there is a mindset I want you to get out of. A lot of people think that there's a country lick, and then there are blues lick, and then there are rock licks. But even though I stole this from listening to country music, I throw this lick into blues and rock songs as well. So don't think that you have to learn, say, 20 country licks for country songs, and then 20 different ones for rock, and 20 different ones for blues. No, there is no such thing as country licks or blues licks or rock licks. There are just guitar licks. How you play them and what style of music you play them in is completely up to you. So don't think of them as independent or individual styles. Think of them just as guitar licks. Experiment around with them and throw them into lots of different styles and genres of music. So even though I stole this from country, I still use it all the time. We were bending this 12th fret up here on the B string, hitting this 12th fret on the E string, and I'm bending this a whole fret up. And again, just like any of the other licks, we can hit these independently. We can hit them at the same time, or I don't have to hit that 12th fret on the E string. Maybe I just want to use, this bend here on the B string as its own little lick, and I don't have to bend it a full step up. Maybe I want to bend it maybe just a half a fret, a half bend, just 1 fret up. That way it gives me more of that minor pentatonic sound instead of that major sound. And this is where you can start going, taking that country lick and making it more of a blues lick by, don't bend it all the way up. Just bend it, a half a bend. And now we can more get that bluesy or rock sound out of that same lick. Another variation on ending this, instead of just hitting this A note, this 10th fret on the B string, maybe I hit this 11th on the G as well. So there's lots of variations you can play around with and find. So play around with that lick. Also, considering that this is my A note, this 10th fret on the B string, I can kind of use that as a resolution as well to get out of some of these other licks. It's just to slide up to that note, especially if I'm going to come up here and play around inside of, that other lick we learned. Sliding up to this note might be a good way to kind of shift your hand up so that you're not having to, jump back and forth. So just keep that in mind, is that you can slide up here to this 10th fret on the B string in order to get up here to play around in that other lick. Also, say we were playing this lick right here where we're sliding up. A resolution, a way to get out of that lick might be to just hit this 10th fret on the B string. Considering that is your A note, that would be another way to get out of that lick in order to get back up here again to be playing inside of that other lick. So when you're playing these licks, when you're practicing, think of different ways to get from position to position and different ways to kind of string these together. Now, I'm going to put on a backing track. I'm going to show you kind of, what I might play stringing some of these licks together. So, but experiment around and make them your own. So let's kind of see what that might sound like. So I really do hope that this helps. Take these licks, experiment around with them, string them together, find different variations. You can play lots of different solos, lots of different licks with just knowing a couple of really simple ones. So again, I hope this really helps. And as always, if you need something, reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you.